investigating the motive, why and how this happened. The shooter left behind hundreds of pages of writings that describe the shooter's plan, writings that describe the shooter's mental state, and more than anything, writings that describe the shooter's hate. There appears to be only one group that the shooter didn't hate, one group of people who the shooter admired. The group were the school shooters and mass murderers that are notorious in this country. More than anything, the shooter wanted to kill children, defenseless children. The shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. The shooter saw the attack as a way to target our most vulnerable among us while they were at their most vulnerable at school and at church. I won't dignify the shooter's words by repeating them. They are horrific and vile. But in short, the shooter wanted to watch children suffer.
New Directions Community Credit Union is now open in Titusville. They may be new to our community, but they've been serving our region since 1974, providing their members with affordable products and services. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, volunteers, attends school, regularly conducts business, or who owns a business in Venango, Forest, Warren, or Crawford counties. Visit their new location at 206 South Martin Street in Titusville to learn more about becoming a member. Best of luck to all the students and athletes this fall from New Directions Community Credit Union.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
Titusville Market Square is home to over 100 unique vendors featuring antiques, collectibles, candles, coins, baked goods, dairy products, food items, comic books, toys, and so much more. You'll discover something new every time you walk through the door. Did we mention the selection of baked goods, breads, Clark's Donuts, and Amish pies? Titusville Market Square has you covered. Stop in to explore today. Titusville Market Square in downtown Titusville.
Our new home.
Somebody pinch me.
Somebody say pinch?
Pinch, pinch.
We mean we just bought this.
Yeah, we just bought a new house. Why are there crabs?
Don't call for pinches. Call for protection.
Hit it.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your State Farm agent is ready to help you choose the right coverage for your new house and your car.
All right, which way to the sea?
We're in Ohio.
So is that close, or?
No.
You got a pool?
No.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Ronnie Long.
And I'm Lisa Mellon.
The name Armstrong reflects more than just a company. It's a promise.
While others focus on the short term, we're building for a future that's limitless.
From the dawn of cable television to the rise of the digital age, we've delivered cutting-edge technology like our advanced fiber network that redefines what's possible.
Guided by our core values, we have proudly served and strengthened communities like yours for generations.
Fat Chad's is Titusville's premier dining destination. Come hungry and enjoy these menu favorites: T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Dive into fresh pasta entrees like shrimp and scallop pasta or our signature Asiago chicken. And don't miss our famous burgers and fish sandwiches, all served with fresh cut fries. Fridays mean prime rib specials. Enjoy wild game Saturdays. And on Sundays, it's our all-you-can-eat wing buffet. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
211 is an easy-to-remember telephone number for finding health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. Every day, highly trained 211 call specialists provide referrals to basic human needs resources like food banks and shelters, physical and mental health, employment support, support for youth and child care programs, and support for adults and persons with disabilities. To learn more, dial 211 or visit pa211nw.org.
Wall Street's main indexes gained ground on Thursday, with the Dow ticking up marginally for a record-high close, the S&P 500 climbing about 0.33% to also notch a record-high close, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq adding more than 0.5%. Shares of Nvidia fell less than 1% on trade uncertainties with China, and despite a 56% surge in quarterly revenue that confirmed demand for AI technology remains strong. Other AI heavyweights rose, including Alphabet and Amazon, with chipmaker Broadcom rising almost 3%. But Ben McMillan, chief investment officer and co-founder of IDX Advisors, believes macroeconomic factors may pressure high-flying stocks in the months ahead.
I do think we're starting getting into the back half of the year where investors should, urge some caution as it relates to the risk on trade, things back to basics, diversification, taking profits, rotating out of, potentially, sectors that have done very well. And the market is just, I think, kind of in looking at data mode, seeing what's going to happen to the Fed, and then also just waiting for data to come in that's going to determine one way or another whether or not we have a recession in the back half.
Other stocks on the move included chipmaker Marvell Technology, which slid about 8% in extended trading after the company forecast third-quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates as economic uncertainty and tariff concerns weighed on overall demand. Shares of Caterpillar dropped about 3% in after-hours trading as the construction equipment maker raised its estimate of tariff-related costs for 2025. And shares of Dell fell more than 4% in extended trading after the company gave a third-quarter profit outlook that disappointed investors.
Post offices and package shippers around the world are preparing for a huge shake-up in how they send items to the US. The country's exemption from tariffs for packages valued below $800 ends on Friday, and administration officials say that is a permanent change. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro said the move would raise revenue and help stem the flow of fentanyl into the country. From now on, the US will collect normal duty rates on all shipments. However, during a 6-month transition period, shippers can opt to pay a flat duty of between $80 to $200, depending on the country of origin. The lower rate applies to places where Donald Trump has imposed duties below 16%, like the UK and EU. The top rate applies to countries where he has imposed tariffs above 25%, including China, India and Canada. It all means a huge shake-up for many firms and for online shoppers too. The so-called de minimis tariff exemption had been in place since 1938 and was raised to $800 in 2015 as a way to foster growth for small businesses on e-commerce marketplaces. It helped drive explosive growth for Chinese online retailers like Temu and Shein. That in turn generated huge business for parcel carriers like FedEx and UPS. Now they will have to collect the duties and process the paperwork for the tariffs. Some postal services around the world have suspended shipments to the US ahead of the change, while they work to adapt to the new rules. Postal groups in Japan, South Korea, Australia and many European countries are among those to stop accepting packages. From how Nvidia raked in cash but still underwhelmed investors, to why Donald Trump has India on his target list, this is the week in numbers. Up to $4 trillion is Nvidia's estimate for global spending on AI infrastructure by 2030. But shares in the chip giant still fell, not helped by a tepid outlook for the coming quarter that excluded all predictions for Chinese sales. Morningstar strategist Brian Colello says that leaves investors with questions.
China is certainly the wild card today on whether they'll be allowed to sell. If so, which sort of products, even if they are allowed to sell by the U.S., will China be receptive? Will the Chinese government be receptive? There are a lot of questions.
Up to 50% is now the tariff on many Indian exports to the U.S. That's after Donald Trump put an extra 25% levy on the country as punishment for its continued buying of Russian oil. The US says those purchases are helping to fund Moscow's war on Ukraine. Around $330 billion is the valuation TikTok owner ByteDance has put on itself. That's according to Reuters sources, who say the number comes in a planned share buyback for employees. It's still far below the $1.9 trillion value put on Facebook owner Meta, with analysts saying the difference comes down to uncertainty over TikTok's future in the US. $18 billion is the price to create a new drinks giant. That's how much Keurig Dr Pepper will pay to buy Dutch coffee company JDE Peet's. Analysts say the combined firm will have the heft to challenge market leader Nestlé in the global coffee business. And just over $5.4 billion was the record first-half sales number hit by Lego. The Danish toy maker was boosted by tie-ups with brands including Formula One and Jurassic Park. Lego also looks better insulated from US tariffs than rivals Hasbro and Mattel, which are more dependent on Chinese factories.
Well, happy Friday as we look at your weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania. Chance of a morning shower, some sun this morning with increasing clouds this afternoon, and temperatures today in the low 60s. Some clouds tonight with lows in the mid-40s. Going to be a bit chilly for high school football. Saturday, looking at partly cloudy skies, upper 60s for a high. Sunday, partly cloudy, mid-70s. Monday for Labor Day, mostly sunny, mid-70s. Tuesday, partly cloudy and upper 70s for a high. That is a look at your weather forecast at 7:15. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Happy Friday, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this 29th day of August.
Hello, Friday. It's good to see you. Today's gonna be a good day. Thanks for starting your Friday with Luke and Amy on the Morning Drill.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Friday. It's good to see you. Today's gonna be a good
My new favorite Friday song, I think.
I just look forward to hearing that. I don't know. It's Friday. Happy Friday.
It's the little things.
It is. It really is the little things. All right. Week 2 of high school football tonight. It's been a fun week of high school sports. Started out having 2 soccer matches, but one was canceled at the beginning of the week. So
scheduling snafu.
Yeah, new AD at a different school, and whoops, made a mistake. Yep. So you only had one.
We had one. We won.
Okay. We covered golf this week. Mm-hmm. Get ready for football tonight. Looking forward to that. Down at the field last night to do a coach's interview, and we did it instead of in the studio. We went down to the field last night.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
we were down there earlier in the week so you could test some equipment, and it was comfortable outside. It was a great temperature, but in that box with the sun, oh my Lord, I don't know how you guys do it. It's dreadful.
It won't be tonight.
No, it won't be tonight. No.
It'll be the opposite. It'll be like, well, it's kind of chilly.
Do you need a heater?
No, there's a heater in there.
All right.
No, we're good. I don't think it'll be that bad, but if you're going out tonight, wherever you are, if you're heading out to watch some high school football tonight, bundle up.
Yep.
Or take some stuff with you. It's going to... The daytime high today is 63. So, it's even if you're comfortable in that, like once the sun starts setting tonight, it's probably going to get a bit chilly. So just keep that in mind. It's so weird. We have gone from like full-blown summer to fall in somebody applied the brakes quickly and the emergency brake.
Our son said yesterday, we should really turn the heat on. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe you should take the air conditioning unit out.
No, I was with him because our living room was freezing.
Then take the fan out of the window.
You know what stopped me?
The window.
I almost turned the heat. I swear to you, I almost turned the heat on just to get a little bit of heat in there. And I'm like, I am not turning the furnace on in August. We try so hard every year to go as long as possible. Not to save money, it's just a mental thing. Like, there's no way.
It's a game.
It's a game for me. How long can we keep the furnace off? And I'm thinking last year it was end of September, almost beginning of October.
Yeah. Because, it's not the end of, we're not done with temps, being up there. So
no, and some warm temperatures will be coming back next week. Actually, over the next couple weeks. I'm looking at the 12th of September, and it's saying 78.
There you go.
I don't know. It could change. But, it's going to be a couple weeks of lots of 70s, but we're going to be in a span of 60s and then back into 70s. So, yeah. But it is a game that I have an issue with. I'm like, I refuse to turn the furnace on in August. I'm not going to give up.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I had the same thought last night because it was kind of chilly in the house. And then I'm thinking, well, when we get home tonight, it's going to be cold. So
it is.
That's all right. But it should be a great Labor Day weekend here in Northwest Pennsylvania.
Last official hoorah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
The unofficial end of summer. We've got, except for Saturday, upper 60s, but it's going to be sunny. We'll be back in the 70s Sunday and Monday. So if you're looking to get some outdoor things done, and it should be pretty nice to do that this weekend. I know a lot of people are excited. You start, you do the back to school shopping, and what are you seeing outside of the Halloween stuff? But just seeing the fall decor and people getting excited about decorating and making their house look nice for the fall. And there's an article this morning about some things that immediately make your house look bad. They include bland art and dated accessories. To create an intentional, well-curated space, designer Susie Novak says decorating your home with art and accessories you love is important. Otherwise, you run the risk of creating a sterile space that lacks personality. Art and accessories can seem basic, but they are an element in the home that truly tells your story about your travels, your personality. This is the best way to avoid a sterile space that feels more like a hotel than a home.
God bless you.
Thank you. So, if you got some art you've collected, maybe some pictures of your family, hang them up. Get them put. We got a lot of really nice prints we have to frame.
Yes.
We haven't done that. They also say no lighting plan. As designer Brittany Cooper notes, every great home has great lighting. Good lighting transforms a space by enhancing its functionality and aesthetic appeal, Cooper says. Without it, your home can look pretty thought out. To avoid this, Cooper suggests elegant fixtures and intentional recessed lights combined with smart lighting systems, or at least one of the three options to start. So, good lighting is another one. Let's see. You can also overdo it by putting way too much.
Yeah.
In the space. So I think there's aspects where that can look really cool if it's done right, but if it can easily go the other way if you overdo it. So
look like a hoarder.
Yeah. Bad cabinetry. While quality cabinetry can be a big expense, Novak says it's too important of an element to ignore. Poor cabinetry can also end up costing you more to fix later. Not all cabinetry is created equal, and investing in good cabinets will last you years and years, Novak said. It'll also add to a nice everyday user experience. And then the another one here, out of proportion furniture. So if you have a big space and maybe you put like a little chair, not going to be a good thing. So furniture can be a big expense, but the best thing you can do is focus on buying the pieces that are right for the proportion you're looking to fill. So just look for that. Textured walls is another surefire way to date your home, says Novak. Rather than live with a funny finish, she suggests investing in a way to smooth them out. Without it, walls can have a knock-on effect that infiltrates the rest of your room. So just watch out for there. But some quick tips there for you for your home if you're looking to do that. And then there's already some Halloween decor trends designers are already seeing this year. Organic textures and neutral tones are big this fall. Sustainable Halloween decor. People are definitely paying more attention to sustainable ways to decorate, and Halloween is one of those holidays where you can get creative to make your own or look for decorations that are made with clean or natural materials. So, could go that direction or very scary. Nostalgic homemade Halloween decorations are big this year. So maybe instead of spending a few $100 at the big box store buying one of those big tall things, make your own, which I think you would enjoy.
Yeah.
Also, because of the popularity of that Wednesday Addams show on Netflix, I think, is it Netflix? There's a lot of Wednesday Addams inspired Gothic decor out there. And then they say layered decor with subtle Halloween accents. So something that's not like in your face Halloween, but just subtly mixed in. So that's something else to maybe check out.
All right.
So those are some Halloween tips for you, or fall decorating tips.
Okay. Woohoo.
From somebody who isn't really good at that stuff at all. Yeah. We're going to get to birthdays and what we're celebrating here this morning. Not only what we're celebrating today, but through the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
It is Friday.
There's that.
So that's good.
And listen.
Yeah.
Monday, federal holiday. Post office, banks, they're closed. Okay. There's your friendly reminder. And other things. All right.
Birthdays. Today's the 29th day of August.
You ready?
Who's celebrating today?
Actor Elliot Gould is 87 today. Actress Rebecca De Mornay is 66. Actress Carla Gugino is 54. And actress Lee Michelle is 39 today.
All right, happy birthday to them. Happy birthday to YOU. If today happens to be your birthday, from all of us here this morning. wish you a happy birthday. Amy will try to make it to each and every one of your birthdays this weekend, if at all possible.
All right.
Are you baking a cake for everybody, or
I
don't
am.
have time? All right, what are we celebrating today?
Okay, according to Hoyle Day, College Colors Day, Founding Anniversary of the Senate, Individual Rights Day, International Day Against Nuclear Tests, More Herbs, Less Salt Day, National Chop Suey Day, National Lemon Juice Day, National Sports Day, Literacy and Numeracy Week. And then we celebrate tomorrow Franchise Appreciation Day, Frankenstein Day.
Ooh. Is that when Mary Shelley's book came out?
I don't know. You can look it up while I finish every other day. It'll give you something to do other than bothering me.
I helped you out this morning, by the way.
You did. Thank you. Thank you so much. International Day of the Victims of Enforced Disappearances. International Whale Shark Day. National Beach Day. National Grief Awareness Day. National Holistic Pet Day. National Toasted Marshmallow Day. Santa Rosa de Lima Day. Slinky Day. Turkey Victory Day. International Bat Day.
I could slay a turkey sandwich right now.
You could, couldn't you?
I'm kind of hungry.
Okay. And then on Sunday, it's birth anniversary of President Ramon. Eat Outside Day, International Day for People of African Descent. International Overdose Awareness Day. Iron Man Whales. Love Litigating Lawyers Day. National Earth Day. Diatomaceous Earth Day. National Matchmaker Day. National Trail Mix Day, National Zoo Awareness Day, Social Justice Sunday, We Love Memoirs Day, World Distance Learning Day, Legacy Week. And then are we doing Monday? Do you want me to do Monday?
Monday's going to give you all of the September stuff,
Yeah.
right? Can you just hit what Monday is, or without doing all the September stuff, and we'll do that next week?
Sure. If it will let me do that.
Or you want to just
Go
wait?
there.
Well, Monday's Labor Day.
Yeah, so Monday's Labor Day, Acne Positivity Day, American Chest Day, Building and Code Staff Day, Cherry Popover Day, Chicken Boy Day.
Oh, no.
I know, it is. Ginger Cat. Are you done?
No.
Okay. Ginger Cat Appreciation Day, Mouth Guard Day, National Child Identity Theft Awareness Day, National Little Black Dress Day, National Monterey County Fair Day, National No Rhyme or Reason Day, National Tofu Day, Pink Cadillac Day, Waddle Day, West Indian Day Parade, World Letter Writing Day, Animal Pain Awareness Month. Okay, now I'm done.
I have this thing. We do it every year. We bring it up, and I've always wanted to find this. It's Monday's Chicken Boy Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's every September 1st. There it is. There's a whole story. We'll talk about it next week, unless we forget.
We're going to forget.
But I've wanted to find like a figure of this thing to have in my office.
I have no idea what it's for.
Well, you look it up. You're making me look stuff up. You look it up then.
Oh, my God.
I'll tell you. You look it up.
Okay. I'll look it up.
All right. Cheri Porter from the OC&T Railroad will be joining us after the news. I was thinking about her last night, thinking, I'm going to see Cheri tomorrow. I saw her at the beginning. Was that the beginning of the week?
Mm-hmm. Monday.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeehaw.
What a fast. That was everything. Everything's just kind of blurred together. It's crazy. All right, 7:30. Your headlines are coming up next. This is the Morning Drill. Happy Friday, everybody.
Discover no-sweat savings of over $7,000 off your next Chevy truck. It's Community Chevrolet's Dog Days of Summer sales event. Our mascot Clark can hardly contain his excitement, and he's asleep, of course. This month, don't sleep on our hottest savings of the summer, including more than $7,000 off MSRP on a new Silverado, or save nearly $2,000 on hot new SUVs like the Trax and the Equinox. The Dog Days of Summer sales event. Where? At Community Chevrolet.
Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning provides residential and light commercial air conditioning services throughout the area. They understand the importance of your cooling system working properly. That is why you can trust in Vanderhoof to do the job right. Whether it's a non-working air conditioner, yearly maintenance, or a new install, you can be assured that we will solve your problem quickly and efficiently. Your home's air conditioning system is far more than just temperature. It's a complete comfort system that combines temperature, humidity, air quality, and above all, safety. Vanderhoof Heating and Air Conditioning in Titusville.
I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us, but try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same. But you have excuses because you're old, so it's okay.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at sounditouttogether.org.
Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom, ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
Did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Whether you want to go and lead in your craft in the trades, whether you want to go and be that nurse or medical worker and have a real impact on lives, or whether you want to go and help that business improve its bottom line, this is the place. And now is your time to go with confidence, to go with skill, to go succeed. The Education and Training Center at Pitt Titusville.
I needed a place I could feel cared for without the long drive. I chose Mevo OBGYN because both my sisters came here, highly recommended Dr. Kristen. Dr. Kristen makes me feel very comfortable. Like I'm family, like we're friends, very personable. My daughter Evie was born breech, and it was Dr. Kristen and Dr. Barco, and they were incredible. It was a wonderful experience. I wouldn't ever want to go anywhere else.
Vehicle shopping? Make sure you check out Titusville Ford first. Shop our amazing selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. Visit us on Route 8 in Titusville and see why our customer service is a cut above the rest. Titusville Ford, your hometown dealer.
Wall Street's main indexes gained ground on Thursday, with the Dow ticking up marginally for a record-high close, the S&P 500 climbing about 0.33% to also notch a record-high close, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq adding more than 0.5%. Shares of Nvidia fell less than 1% on trade uncertainties with China, and despite a 56% surge in quarterly revenue that confirmed demand for AI technology remained strong. Other AI heavyweights rose, including Alphabet and Amazon, with chipmaker Broadcom rising almost 3%. But Ben McMillan, chief investment officer and co-founder of IDX Advisors, believes macroeconomic factors may pressure high-flying stocks in the months ahead.
I do think we're starting getting into the back half of the year where investors should, urge some caution as it relates to the risk on trade, things back to basics, diversification, taking profits, rotating out of, potentially, sectors that have done very well. And the market is just, I think, kind of in looking at data mode, seeing what's going to happen to the Fed, and then also just waiting for data to come in that's going to determine one way or another whether or not we have a recession in the back half.
Other stocks on the move included chipmaker Marvell Technology, which slid about 8% in extended trading after the company forecast third-quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates as economic uncertainty and tariff concerns weighed on overall demand. Shares of Caterpillar dropped about 3% in after-hours trading as the construction equipment maker raised its estimate of tariff-related costs for 2025. And shares of Dell fell more than 4% in extended trading after the company gave a third-quarter profit outlook that disappointed investors.
All right, here's a look at that weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania. Chance of a morning shower, some sun this morning, increasing clouds this afternoon. Temperatures today in the low 60s. Some clouds tonight. It's going to be cool, so if you're heading out for football, temperatures are going to drop into the mid-40s overnight tonight. So, yeah, it's going to get cold tonight. Saturday, partly cloudy, upper 60s. Sunday, partly cloudy, mid-70s. Monday for Labor Day, mostly sunny, mid-70s. And Tuesday, partly cloudy, upper 70s. It's going to be a beautiful Labor Day weekend. That is a look at your weather forecast at 7:37. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Joining us this morning, Cheri Porter from the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad. Hi, Cheri. How are you today?
Good, thanks.
Good
How
to
about
see you. Great. Good to see you.
Yeah.
We were talking
long
about the
time
week.
No see.
You've had a busy week, busy media week, which is cool.
Yes.
A lot of good exposure for the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad.
We are certainly trying. Yes, sir.
And I know I ask you this all the time, but for those who are just maybe catching this for the first time or learning about you and what goes on at the OC&T, people come from all over to take part in a beautiful ride through the valley that changed the world. Talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So we've got passengers that come from all over New York, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania. I actually talked to a gentleman the other day that is coming from England. I talked to a family yesterday that will be coming down from Michigan. So, yeah, we cover the gamut and then some.
We just had Drakewell on yesterday, and I was asking Sarah about their season and does it still amaze them to see the people that she goes, the thing that amazes me the most, that it's not, a lot of times it's not that Titusville is a second or third destination because they're coming through. Some people make it their first destination, and people in the industry, which is really cool. So when you get a call from somebody from England or wherever, are they coming because they want to learn more about the history of the area? They want to kind of see everything?
It depends. Now, the gentleman that's coming from England this time, he is an Alco train buff. So he plans his trips according to where he can find those Alco engines. We have had some people that, yes, they are very much here for the history of the area. We have had some people that schedule their trips because of, okay, where are the colors going to be changing in what state park? So, they do it based on that. So, I mean, any number of reasons, but 9 times out of 10, when they discover that we're here and the museum is here, they then want to figure out how they can coordinate both trips. Well, can we get to them before, we get on the train, or can we get the train down there, and, how can we make this work? Or when we get back, will we have time to get down there after we're done? And so, yeah, they try to make it a whole event while they're here.
And I think that's probably one of the beauties of the OC&T Railroad and how fortunate we are to have that here, is because it is a destination unto itself, right? Yes. And a lot of people will come and ride the train because they are train enthusiasts.
Yep.
And then they discover, oh my gosh, there's also this rich history here, which is something they figure out once they're here. And,
Absolutely.
yeah, it's just cool. So, and I think that adds to that excitement, right? When a family comes in, or an individual or a couple, again, no matter the age, when you see a train, all that stuff we've talked about in the past of, being a kid and playing with trains, or, there's just something about them that just brings a kid out in you.
Absolutely.
And you get so excited.
Yep. So, yeah, and and it's wonderful, especially watching the grandparents that are bringing their grandkids in, and, you're watching them as they're, talking about the train, and they hear the train whistle for the first time, and you can't tell if the grandparents are more excited than the kids or vice versa. So it is a lot of fun, yes.
And I think, mentioning Drake Well again real quick, for folks going, because they're learning that history, when they find out there's a train and you can take a ride and travel through areas that were rich in drilling, and
yes,
that's exciting too.
Yes. And you realize that a lot of those areas that you get to see from the train are not easily accessible any other way. There are places where the trails will come close to those areas, but for all practical purposes, most of the area that we traverse in the train is not easily accessible any other way. How
cool is Perry Street Station? Just as a train depot, it is one of those things where if you're coming for the first time and you think, oh, we're going to ride a train, that's going to be awesome. And then you step into to Perry Street Station, and I think it's a whole other experience.
Oh, absolutely. When you realize that building was built in 1892, so it's over 100 years old, and we are still fortunate to be using it most every day. The fact that there is that much history just within the building itself, not to mention the items that we have on display in there, and the history that's contained in the diorama that's on the wall and that type of thing, or the information of, what else is there to do in the area, the displays that we've got for that setup and stuff like that. So absolutely.
We'll show a picture. This is one of the murder mysteries. Now, this is a section of Perry Street Station that is just really awesome for event space. You can maybe talk more about what other uses it has, but it's packed.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, we do all sorts of things in the front half of the station. It is where our concession stand is located. So if you come in for a train ride, we're going to send you up there for your coffee, your cold drinks, your fresh popcorn, that type of thing. But that's also, like you see here, where we seat everybody for the mystery dinners. We have had weddings in there. We have had wedding receptions in there. We've had memorial dinners. You're part of the group that comes in and does the open mic nights in there on Thursday nights. So yes, that room is available for lots of things.
It's really cool space. What's the reaction you get just out, when people come in there for the first time? Because that, you said the front half. The other half is a wonderful gift shop, and it's huge. But there's a lot of historic things in there as well.
Exactly. So a lot of times the best explanation of what we get is wide-eyed wonder, because people just walk in and they just start looking around and like, wow, there is a lot in here to take in, and wondering, am I going to see everything before I get on the train, and that type of thing. So, yeah.
Some really great gifts. Do you recommend people waiting until they get off the train to shop, or just whenever you can? Because
absolutely,
it may be gone.
Exactly. Yes. So no, we don't really sway people one way or the other as far as their shopping. A lot of people will come in, do their shopping first, then take their purchases back out, leave them in the car, then ride the train. Others don't want to be bothered with that. Once they've got everybody in the station, they're staying in the station, so they save their shopping for when the train ride's done. So, it balances out really well. So
awesome. Well, set up fall for us. It looks like it's going to be just a really busy time, as always. And again, as Cheri is mentioning, maybe these events that are coming up, write it down and think, okay, is this something we want to do? And if so, better get our tickets, because they'll go fast this fall.
Right. So September, we are operating Saturdays and Sundays only. I do still have first class tickets available in September. Then we move into October, where we go to our 5 days a week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, with runs at 11 a.m., Saturday and Sundays with rides at 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. I do not have a single first class ticket left. They were sold out by the 1st of August.
Wow.
So we were slacking a little because last year we sold out by the middle of July, so we were slacking a little this year and took to the 1st of August. But no first class tickets left for October. We do still have plenty of coach seating available for October. We do have a couple of days that are filling up. We do heritage school tours during the first 2 weeks of October. So we do have some school tours that are filling up quickly on those days, but there's still plenty of seats available and that type of thing. October 25th, we have our kids' Halloween train in the morning, so the little ones can come dressed up in their costumes and trick or treat on the train, in essence. And then that evening, we have the adult version with the final murder mystery of the season. And then we are done until the end of November when Santa Claus comes to visit. So we will have the Friday and Saturday, or Saturday and Sunday after Thanksgiving, Santa will be on the train, and then the first Saturday and Sunday of December, Santa will be on the train with us. So
wow. When do tickets go on sale for that?
They're already on
They're
sale.
on sale, okay.
Yep.
So if that's something you're thinking about.
Yep, and I can tell you I do still have first class tickets for those events too, so.
Okay.
Just not October.
And that's when you probably want to bundle up, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. We do have heat on the train, but you need to remember these cars were built in 1920. Insulation standards were not quite what they are nowadays. So, yes, they are insulated, and yes, there is heat, but, it's a little bit chilly. But once you get everybody on there and everybody's having a good time, we keep the doors closed as best we can to, keep some of the heat in the coaches and stuff like that. So it does help, but yes. Definitely dress for the weather.
Yeah, and imagine, well, first of all, if you've been to Perry Street Station, it's beautiful to begin with. But then, you step in with the Christmas decor, and it's just, again, a train at Christmas time is really special. So
yes.
You guys do a really nice job making that even more special for those taking part in it.
We try.
And again, you can go to the website and Facebook page to get all the information. So there's more out there.
Yep, absolutely.
We were kind of joking. While you're going to the weekends now in September, right? It doesn't slow down.
No.
You're always planning that at the end of the season to, let's say, the Christmas time runs that you have. How much planning is done there? Because you're also getting ready for that event, but you're also probably thinking about next year. And just kind of walk us through how it goes for you, because the office, again, continues to be really busy.
Absolutely. So our next scheduled board meeting is mid-September. I hope to present our 2026 calendar to the board at that meeting for approval so that we can release that earlier than we have done in the last few years, because next year is a big year for us. Next year we turn 40. So I would like to think we could have a year-long celebration, just calling attention to the fact that, hey, we're here, we've been here, and this is the kind of, turnover that we bring through the town, and let's make this a party, let's celebrate, and let's draw attention to the fact that here we are 40 years later, and, I'd like to see it be a big year for us. So I want to try and get a lot of that stuff set up and ready to go. So it starts with presenting the schedule to the board and getting their approval, and then we build from there. So yeah, the month of September, I will be putting together final touches on some of the events that are scheduled and trying to set up events and, how are we going to do this? What are we going to do here? And that type of thing. We're going to hit a few new travel shows this winter. One of them possibly a bus show, so that we can book more bus groups coming into the area and stuff like that. So yeah, we're looking at all sorts of stuff. So no, there will not be a downtime.
And I think you're still on that march to the 1 millionth rider, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Getting closer.
We are. So we were looking at numbers the other day from Easter of last year to August, the end of August last year, and comparing those same numbers to this year, we are about 250 people short of meeting last year's goal. So hopefully we will be able to, break that in the next 2 days and make sure that we are at least even, if not exceeding what we did last year, and, keep moving forward. So.
Well, let's do this real quick. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Cheri Porter with us here this morning from the Oil Creek and Titusville Railroad. The biggest break you have is what, between Christmas and the Easter runs?
Correct.
Okay, so that's a chance for, and again, that's not a long period there to make sure all the maintenance is getting worked on, because you got Easter, and then a tiny break, and then you're off and running in May, right? So a lot has to get done there.
Yes.
When it comes to volunteers for the off, plus you're dealing with weather and
right.
That's a whole different thing. But when it comes to volunteers, maybe not during the runtime, but behind the scenes, working on things, is there an opportunity there for somebody to step up and say, hey, I'd like to do that?
Absolutely. I am always looking for volunteers, whether you want to do behind the scenes maintenance type stuff, behind the scenes planning stuff. Absolutely, we can find something. If you're one of those people that loves to talk to people, I would love to talk to you, because we can always use tour guides, especially going into October, because we put an average of 500 people through the train every day that we run. Saturdays and Sundays, that doubles because we do 2 runs a day. So we are always looking for people to share some of the talking responsibilities, so that come the end of the runs, we actually still have voices left. So yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure you get people that come up to you and ask, like, hey, I'm not really good at talking in front of people, but I'm handy. I can do this.
Yep.
Great. We got something for you.
Absolutely.
And then, as you said, you might have somebody who's like, I'm not very handy, but I love people.
Yep.
Great. We have something for you.
Exactly.
So,
yes. Yep.
Something for everybody.
Absolutely.
If somebody wanted to get involved in that, what's the training like? Is it they could do it quickly, or there's a lot to memorize?
It's kind of a little bit of both. We're not going to tell them that they have to memorize everything before they can start helping, because that's, I don't know about you, but I'd look at that and go, yeah, okay, never mind, I'm not interested. But we would definitely get them out and get them involved with, whether it's, if they're looking to tour guide, we're going to get them involved with the people, just to get them comfortable being on the moving train, because that is a big part of it. You need to be able to keep your balance and be stable while you're moving on that train. Then to, be comfortable talking to people and stuff like that. And then you can build the history as you go along and stuff like that. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Because there's really a lot to explore.
There is.
But you have people so passionate about what they're doing that, and it's kind of like Drakewell, right? Those volunteers there, where they get so passionate, they'll go and start doing research on their own. And I'm sure they're coming to you saying, hey, I found this out. Is this okay to present? And there you go.
Yep.
So.
That's how it builds. So
now, is it one of those things where if you're a volunteer, there's expectations of, okay, we need you here, and this date, and this date, or I'd love to volunteer. Here are the dates that I can help you.
Absolutely. We are willing to work with your schedule. That is not a problem. So ideally, I would love to have a big enough volunteer group that, it wasn't a full-time job for any one of them, that they can pick and choose their days and we could balance it out. Unfortunately, I don't have that at this point. So, I would love to have enough people that we could, share days and stuff like that. So that would be great. But
are you guys doing the any school trips this fall?
Yes.
Okay, so
first 2 weeks in October. So I think it's 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and then 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
Okay.
That Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
So if a school district maybe was interested in doing a tour on the train this fall, they can, because fall and spring are big school runs for you.
I know that Sarah, I think, is at capacity down at Drakewell on the 8th of October, because I was talking to a school group yesterday, and that was the one day that they couldn't do because they couldn't get through Drakewell and stuff, so they were looking to do a different day. So
yeah, and again, when you see all the students come through, it's got to be exciting and fun for them to be on the train.
Oh yes, yeah.
But I'm sure you, going into sort of the off season, after you get through fall stuff, do you have a list of things in your head that, okay, we got to tackle this, and next year I want to add, because it seems like you're always trying to. improve on, and again, you could sit back and say there's nothing to improve on. It's awesome. But for you, I know it's a challenge to always, okay, what do we do? What do we tweak here and there?
Yes. So during the off season, when I have time to kill, I spend a lot of time going to different railroads, looking at their setup, their operation. How do they do things here? How do they do this? How do they do that? Is that something that we need to look at? Is that something that we can incorporate into what we're doing? Okay, I kind of like that idea, but how could we adjust it so that it works better for our scenario? So yeah, it's a constant learning experience. I don't ever want to reach the point where I'm like, yeah, we're good. We don't need to change anything. No, that's not going to work, because that just doesn't set well with me, because there's always something you can do better. So,
and I think I've, not that I was eavesdropping or anything, but it sounds like there's been times in the past where somebody has presented an idea that maybe just out there, but you're like, well, that might not work, but maybe this aspect of it. And I think you do some things on the train that would surprise a lot of people. From wine tasting, beer tasting, there's a lot of really cool things that you guys do over the course of a season, in addition to just the normal runs that take place.
Yes. Yeah.
Again, great ideas and different experience for different people. Some other things that people might not think about: corporate events.
Absolutely.
Birthday parties.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about what's available.
So you can charter the train in its entirety if you choose to. We also do car rentals. So we had one young man who volunteers for us, and his graduation party took place in the station, and all of his guests got to ride the train. So, I mean, that was kind of a very unique thing. And the feedback after that was this was so fitting for him, because he's been a train fan since he was a little kid. So this was like the culmination to, the ultimate graduation party, So we do things like that. Again, we've had people that do celebrate birthdays on the train. We had a couple renew their vows on the train. So there's all sorts of things that, we can accommodate on the train. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And that's a phone call to the office? Is that something where somebody should come in and sit down and plan it with you?
We prefer to sit down and talk it out. What are your thoughts? Where do you want to see this? How do you want to see this? How can we make this work? That type of thing. So, yes. All
right. Real quick, Cheri, the things coming up this fall that you may want to take note of and call and get tickets for?
All of the October runs. Okay. So they very rarely do we go into October with any walk-up tickets available. We might have a couple here and a couple there, but 95% of the time those October tickets are gone before we get to October. So, yeah, they want to do that now.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, they go fast, don't they?
Yes.
And sometimes I think it's when the leaves start to change that people go, oh, yeah, I need to do that. Mm-hmm. Don't wait for that.
Yes.
Do it now. Find that weekend and get it booked. And then again, if somebody wants to come into the office and visit, how can they find you?
So we are at 117 North Franklin Street here in Titusville, right across from what was Dr. Brooks and Dr. Kennedy's office and stuff. So they can stop in. We're there right now, 9 to 4. I believe 1st of October, maybe hours go back to 9 to 3. But you can always call the office, 814-676-1733, or you can reach out to us on our website. There is a contact us, info@octrr.org. They can shoot us an email there. So any number of ways you can get a hold of us, or most weekends you can find me at the train station. So
pop in, say hi, take a look around. Good to see you this morning.
Thank you.
we are investigating the motive, why and how this happened. The shooter left behind hundreds of pages of writings that describe the shooter's plan, writings that describe the shooter's mental state, and more than anything, writings that describe the shooter's hate. There appears to be only one group that the shooter didn't hate, one group of people who the shooter admired. The group were the school shooters and mass murderers that are notorious in this country. More than anything, the shooter wanted to kill children, defenseless children. The shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. The shooter saw the attack as a way to target our most vulnerable among us while they were at their most vulnerable at school and at church. I won't dignify the shooter's words by repeating them. They are horrific and vile. But in short, the shooter wanted to watch children suffer.
Interstate Pipe and Supply takes pride in providing superior customer service. That's why our dedicated employees are well trained and have the experience to offer friendly, quick, and reliable service and support. Need materials delivered to your job site? No problem. Interstate offers fast delivery from our 4 locations in Western Pennsylvania. We also serve Eastern Ohio, Northern Western Virginia, and Western New York. Service means business at Western Pennsylvania's premier pipe and supply company, Interstate Pipe and Supply.
Anyone with a kind and generous heart and a little money can be a philanthropist. You too can be a force for good in our community, and the Crawford Heritage Community Foundation is here to help you make the most of your charitable giving. We've partnered with hundreds of people like you to make our world and our community a better place. You can give through us to support scholarships or any charitable organization or purpose. Whether you're interested in establishing a permanent endowment or adding to an existing fund, we want to be a part of your plan. Contact us when you're ready to make your mark. Together, we can make your contribution go further.
The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home has been serving the needs of Titusville and surrounding communities since 1965. Mr. Garrett believed in tradition and commitment to excellence, standards that have been passed down from one generation to now a new generation, who will work to provide you with a beautiful, lasting tribute to your loved one. When you need them, they will be there for you. This has been their foundation for almost 60 years. The Gordon B. Garrett Funeral Home, 303 North Washington Street in Titusville. Share the fun of train travel and relive our country's oil history as you ride the OC&T through the valley that changed the world. Learn about the past while traveling on vintage cars. See a variety of wildlife with stops at Drakewell Park, Petroleum Center, and Oil Creek State Park. Arrive early and see the vast collection of train and railroad memorabilia at Perry Street Station. After the ride, enjoy a night's stay at the Caboose Motel. For seasonal specials or for more information, visit octrr.org or call 814-676-1733. For over 30 years, J. Gill Plumbing and Heating has taken pride in being the premier heating and air conditioning service provider in the area. Our highly skilled and certified technicians will work closely with you to address your heating and air conditioning repair, installation, or maintenance needs. And with the J. Gill service membership, you can take advantage of additional benefits like filter replacements and priority service scheduling. Plus, members get 10% off future projects. Call today to get a free estimate or ask about financing options. Call J. Gill Plumbing and Heating today or visit them online at jgillplumbingheating.com. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding is located at 305 East Spring Street in Titusville. Marsh Home Center welcomes you in to explore their growing inventory of name brand furniture, appliances, and bedding. Need something not currently in stock? No problem. Order from Marsh's online catalog and have it delivered right to your door. Visit Marsh's to see their entire showroom. Ask questions, see what items are on sale, or just stop in and say hi. Marsh Home Center Furniture, Appliances, and Bedding, behind Giant Eagle in Titusville.
211 is a simple telephone number to remember when you don't know where to go for help. Dial 211 when needing to find health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. It's free and confidential, and you'll have access to thousands of programs and services for emergency and non-emergency situations. Visit pa211nw.org to learn more, and remember, help is available by calling 211.
Are you tired of juggling multiple pill bottles? Titusville Express Pharmacy has your solution, now offering compliance packaging. Your medication sorted and sealed by dose, making it easier than ever to stay on track. In a hurry? Take advantage of our convenient drive-through service. We also offer free local delivery for those that qualify. Titusville Express Pharmacy, where convenience meets care. Visit us today at 401 West Spring Street in Titusville. Simplify your medication routine with Titusville Express Pharmacy.
Wall Street's main indexes gained ground on Thursday, with the Dow ticking up marginally for a record high close, the S&P 500 climbing about 0.33% to also notch a record high close, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq adding more than 0.5%. Shares of Nvidia fell less than 1% on trade uncertainties with China, and despite a 56% surge in quarterly revenue that confirmed demand for AI technology remained strong. Other AI heavyweights rose, including Alphabet and Amazon, with chipmaker Broadcom rising almost 3%. But Ben McMillan, chief investment officer and co-founder of IDX Advisors, believes macroeconomic factors may pressure high-flying stocks in the months ahead.
I do think we're starting getting into the back half of the year where investors should, urge some caution as it relates to the risk on trade, things back to basics, diversification, taking profits, rotating out of, potentially, sectors that have done very well. And the market is just, I think, kind of in looking at data mode, seeing what's going to happen to the Fed, and then also just waiting for data to come in that's going to determine one way or another whether or not we have a recession in the back half.
Other stocks on the move included chipmaker Marvell Technology, which slid about 8% in extended trading after the company forecast third-quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates as economic uncertainty and tariff concerns weighed on overall demand. Shares of Caterpillar dropped about 3% in after-hours trading as the construction equipment maker raised its estimate of tariff-related costs for 2025. And shares of Dell fell more than 4% in extended trading after the company gave a third-quarter profit outlook that disappointed investors.
What's the cure for the NVIDIA hangover? Ben McMillan of IDX Advisors is here to tell us. All right, Ben, so what I mean by hangover is, investors maybe get a little giddy when NVIDIA earnings are on tap. And now today, the stock is down a bit, so maybe they're not feeling 100% about the results. So talk to us about why we are seeing a bit of a stock sell-off.
Yeah, I mean, I think the short, simple answer is just sky high expectations. This is a stock where it's been kind of the poster child of the AI boom, and investors have become accustomed to NVIDIA just, frankly, knocking the lights out for forecasts for so many quarters in a row that even when they have an earnings forecast like this, where revenue was up 56% year over year, profit was over $20 billion, which, by any other standard would be phenomenal. It kind of felt, already priced in and, a little bit disappointing. And so, if guidance didn't come in extremely strong, which it was good, but again, not what the market was expecting, we start to see a little bit of a sell-off here. And this is as you say, kind of the NVIDIA hangover.
Let's talk about sales in China and a bit of the disappointment there. And, CEO Jensen Huang alluded to the fact that he might be open to a deal with the Trump administration about those high-end Blackwell chips with China, similar to the ones that he set up with the H20 chips. Explain what we saw in terms of what they said about China. And do you think a deal like that would be a good one?
Yeah, so I think it's interesting. So as you said, we had this precedent already where NVIDIA struck what was frankly an unprecedented deal with the White House to sell a slightly toned down version of their H2O chips, H20 chips. And so I think that's kind of sets a pathway to get this done with their Blackwell chips. And I think it's important, when Jensen Huang was talking in the latest earnings call, he emphasized the importance of America remaining, keeping its dominance in the AI race. If America is overly restrictive and simply cuts off any access to their chips, that's only going to embolden China to move quicker and faster to develop their own. So, and I think that resonates with the White House. So we already have seen a successful path here. They're in talks to get this done. I would be frankly surprised if we don't see something done within the next 6 months. And to answer your question, I think it would be actually very good, mainly for the reason that it does help keep, it'd be great for NVIDIA. It gives them access to a huge Chinese market, but it also helps keep America on top in the AI arms race. Now, there are, national security concerns and things like that have to be hammered out. And, critics have kind of, pounded the drum on that. It's not a trivial thing, but net, I think it's very good for America. I think it's very good for NVIDIA.
I want to pull back a little bit and go back to earlier this month to something that the OpenAI CEO Sam Altman said, which is that investors as a whole are overexcited about AI and that this could be a bubble. So he's Mr. ChatGPT. Why shouldn't we believe him, or should we?
I think, yes, in the near term, like any good kind of secular transformative revolution, and he drew parallels to the dot-com bubble in the 90s. The internet was transformative, but that doesn't mean these stocks can't get overvalued. So I think, yes, we absolutely have to take that into consideration. And that was obvious for a lot of investors anyway, when you look at these valuations, these forward PE ratios. But zooming out, the secular trade, the AI trend is still very much in place. It's still very strong. If anything, I think Sam Altman probably wanted to kind of come out as a sobering voice within the broader AI community, saying, let's not necessarily just get out over our skis here as investors. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I definitely think it's something investors need to take into account when they're thinking about kind of how to approach this space, but also recognizing that long term, the tailwinds are still very much in place.
So should we assume that NVIDIA is the bellwether for the AI trade, or how about AMD? Will that catch up to it, or some of the chips that are being made in-house by like an Amazon or a Google?
In the near term, yes, NVIDIA is absolutely the bellwether, because let's remember, this is basically the AI pickaxe seller, for lack of a better term. Its chips are powering everything from ChatGPT to autonomous vehicles. And when we zoom out and look at, AI, I mean, that's, by some analysts' expectations, that's, accounting for over 60% of the S&P 500's gains since 2023. That said, as we've discussed, AI has, or NVIDIA in particular, has, gotten frothy. Investors have started to, price in. It's priced to perfection. Investors have, started to cool a little bit in the stock. We've seen some profit taking. We've seen some rotation out of that name. And AMD is absolutely now finally gaining traction with its new MI300 chips. Amazon as well and Google are developing, in-house silicon to replace their reliance on NVIDIA, but that's still a little bit of a ways away. A lot of that is still niche. So for now, NVIDIA is very much kind of the AI proxy, the bellwether, but investors do need to watch broader supply chain. The story is shifting from kind of a single bellwether like NVIDIA to a broader ecosystem play like AMD, like Microsoft, even some of the cloud giants. And that's, part of where we are in the cycle. It's perfectly natural.
NVIDIA's stock is up more than 60% since Trump's Liberation Day on April 2nd. Where do you see it headed, say, by year's end?
So that's the million-dollar question. We would definitely urge caution here. I think it's very indicative of what we've seen just with investors, as we pointed out, despite, what was frankly really strong earnings, just even a little bit of a miss on guidance, the stock was actually down a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it kind of trade sideways into year end. That doesn't mean it could be, it couldn't be up or down, call it 10%. But I wouldn't have, huge expectations necessarily for continued price increases through year end. Now, that said, again, if we look, all markets, pull back at points in time, especially when valuations get lofty. We're facing some potential macro headwinds as well. So if you're, a true believer, which many are, we think makes sense, starting to, dollar cost average in on pullbacks could make sense. They're, rotating into broader ecosystem plays. But yeah, we would definitely urge caution with NVIDIA stock, through year end.
Post offices and package shippers around the world are preparing for a huge shake-up in how they send items to the US. The country's exemption from tariffs for packages valued below $800 ends on Friday, and administration officials say that is a permanent change. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro said the move would raise revenue and help stem the flow of fentanyl into the country. From now on, the US will collect normal duty rates on all shipments. However, during a 6-month transition period, shippers can opt to pay a flat duty of between $80 to $200, depending on the country of origin. The lower rate applies to places where Donald Trump has imposed duties below 16%, like the UK and EU. The top rate applies to countries where he has imposed tariffs above 25%, including China, India and Canada. It all means a huge shake-up for many firms and for online shoppers too. The so-called de minimis tariff exemption had been in place since 1938 and was raised to $800 in 2015 as a way to foster growth for small businesses on e-commerce marketplaces. It helped drive explosive growth for Chinese online retailers like Temu and Shein. That in turn generated huge business for parcel carriers like FedEx and UPS. Now they will have to collect the duties and process the paperwork for the tariffs. Some postal services around the world have suspended shipments to the US ahead of the change, while they work to adapt to the new rules. Postal groups in Japan, South Korea, Australia and many European countries are among those to stop accepting packages. From how NVIDIA raked in cash but still underwhelmed investors, to why Donald Trump has India on his target list, this is the Week in Numbers. Up to $4 trillion is NVIDIA's estimate for global spending on AI infrastructure by 2030. But shares in the chip giant still fell, not helped by a tepid outlook for the coming quarter that excluded all predictions for Chinese sales. Morningstar strategist Brian Colello says that leaves investors with questions.
China is certainly the wild card today on whether they'll be allowed to sell, if so, which sort of products, even if they are allowed to sell by the U.S., will China be receptive? Will the Chinese government be receptive? There are a lot of questions.
Up to 50% is now the tariff on many Indian exports to the U.S. That's after Donald Trump put an extra 25% levy on the country as punishment for its continued buying of Russian oil. The US says those purchases are helping to fund Moscow's war on Ukraine. Around $330 billion is the valuation TikTok owner ByteDance has put on itself. That's according to Reuters sources, who say the number comes in a planned share buyback for employees. It's still far below the $1.9 trillion value put on Facebook owner Meta, with analysts saying the difference comes down to uncertainty over TikTok's future in the US. $18 billion is the price to create a new drinks giant. That's how much Keurig Dr Pepper will pay to buy Dutch coffee company JDE Peet's. Analysts say the combined firm will have the heft to challenge market leader Nestlé in the global coffee business. And just over $5.4 billion was the record first-half sales number hit by Lego. The Danish toy maker was boosted by tie-ups with brands including Formula One and Jurassic Park. Lego also looks better insulated from US tariffs than rivals Hasbro and Mattel, which are more dependent on Chinese factories.
From American Bitcoin to Trump's meme coin, there's one family dominating. This is Crypto Weekly. American Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miner backed by Donald Trump's two sons, has locked in crypto and traditional investors to back an all-stock merger. The company's largest investor said it will allow the firm to soon start trading on the Nasdaq. The unlisted firm's merger with Griffon Digital Mining is set to be finalized shortly, with a goal to start trading in early September. That was according to Asher Ganut, the CEO of Hut 8, which holds 80% of American Bitcoin. The company's co-founder, Eric Trump, his brother Donald Trump Jr., and Hut 8 will own a combined 98% of the newly formed entity. Staying with the Trumps, digital asset manager Canary Capital has filed to list an exchange-traded fund tracking the price of the Trump meme coin. The crypto token's fortunes intertwine with the US president, and the ETF could let investors tap into a politically charged meme coin. It would allow Canary to package sentiment-driven speculation into a regulated investment product. A group representing the world's biggest stock exchanges has called on securities regulators to clamp down on so-called tokenized stocks. They argue that the blockchain-based tokens create new risks for investors and could harm market integrity. That was according to a letter seen by Reuters. Tokenized equities are blockchain-based tokens created to represent shares in the company. The tokens represent ownership of the securities, but investors do not become shareholders.
There is absolutely nothing here to graze for my cows. It looks dead. It will come back again, but you can see it is just dust. It is dead. There is nothing for them to pick at.
On David Barton's beef farm in the Cotswolds, Western England, months of heat and drought have left his 200 head of Solaire, Hereford and Sussex cows with nothing but parched fields. It's the result of England's driest spring in more than 100 years, and the driest January to July period since 1929. That's according to data from the UK's Met Office, which says summer 2025 will likely be the UK's warmest since records began in 1884. Moving 2018 off the top spot. Customers for beef from Manor Farm, which has been in Barton's family for 3 generations, include upmarket grocer Waitrose and the restaurant chain Hawksmoor. Like many livestock farmers across England, he has had no choice but to dip into his winter feed supplies early this year, dramatically increasing his costs. Having given up on grazing 2 months ago, Barton has been feeding his cows twice a day with a mix of silage, hay and cereals to ensure they get their necessary nutrients. But his herd is still hungry and chases his tractor across the fields for more food after being fed. Barton's predicament is typical of a wider crisis for British livestock farmers, with many concerned about the welfare of their animals and financial viability amid already thin profit margins. He is spending about £1,000 a week, or $1,350 more on feed than he normally does at this time of year.
Sometimes in a dry year we might feed cattle in August, and I usually carry stocks for that, but we would have made good forage stocks earlier in the year. May and June we grow a lot of grass, and because we didn't have that opportunity this year, it's impossible to catch up. And now we're heading towards September, we won't be able to make conserved forage in the way of silage or hay this year now.
With additional production costs not generally linked to his selling price, Barton faces an expensive winter.
Ford is recalling nearly 500,000 vehicles in the U.S. over a brake fluid leak issue, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said on Thursday. NHTSA's report described how a ruptured hose in the brake system might cause fluid to leak, lengthening stopping distances. And that increases the risk of a crash. The recall includes Ford's SUV Edge, model years 2015 to 2018, as well as its midsize luxury vehicle, Lincoln MKX, from 2016 to 2018. Separately, Ford is also recalling over 213,000 vehicles over faulty taillights and more than 100,000 vehicles due to the risk of a tear in the airbag when deployed. Shares of Ford were down more than 2% in Thursday morning trading.
New car sales in Europe motored on in July, rising nearly 6%. A jump in Germany outweighed drops in Britain, France and Italy. Data showed on Thursday that Tesla lost market share for a 7th consecutive month, despite a rise in overall sales of electric cars. It also trailed competitor BYD, which was included in the monthly sales data for the first time. Sales in the EU, Britain and the European Free Trade Association rose to over 1 million cars in July. Registrations at VW rose more than 11% year-on-year, while Renault went up just under 9%. Stellantis broke that trend with a slight fall. Tesla's sales dropped over 40%, squeezing its market share to 0.8%. China's BYD saw sales jump over 225%, though, to give it 1.2% of the market. On Wednesday, the heads of the European automobile manufacturers and automotive suppliers associations sent a letter to the EU. It said targets to cut CO2 emissions from vehicles, including a 100% reduction for cars by 2035, are no longer feasible. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen is due to host auto sector executives on September the 12th to discuss the future of the sector.
Indian exporters are bracing for impact. Steep US tariffs kicked in Wednesday after trade talks collapsed. That leaves India facing levies of up to 50% on its exports to the US, including an extra duty imposed to punish the country for buying Russian oil. Firms like this leather factory in Kanpur, Uttar Pradesh state, know they are on the front line of the trade war. Exporter Shamim Azad says the effect has already been devastating. He says all his orders from the US are now void, with customers telling him to stop work on previous purchases. Azad says some factories that were totally dependent on the US market have come to a complete halt. India had been optimistic that tariffs would be capped at 15%, but officials now say there's no hope of any immediate relief. They say companies hit by the tariffs will get financial assistance and be encouraged to diversify to markets in China and elsewhere. Both sides blamed political misjudgments for the failed talks. But the Russian oil has become a major sticking point too. US Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and others have accused India of funding Moscow's war against Ukraine by buying its oil. Now Indian exporter groups estimate that the tariffs could hit nearly 55% of the country's merchandise shipments to the US, benefiting rivals like China, Bangladesh and Vietnam. One engineering industry body predicted exports in its sector could fall by almost a third from September. Analysts at Capital Economics have predicted the trade war could knock almost 1 percentage point off the country's growth this year and next.
Well, a lot to get in there news-wise, and we'll recap the latest headlines, the bottom of the hour here, and Mr. Sports Bruce Peterson will be joining us right after. Chance of a morning shower, mostly cloudy skies this morning, becoming cloudy this afternoon. Temperatures today in the low 60s, partly cloudy skies tonight, and overnight low in the mid-40s. Coming up on 8:30, again, a final look at your headlines here this morning, and Mr. Sports will be joining us right after the news.
we are investigating the motive, why and how this happened. The shooter left behind hundreds of pages of writings that describe the shooter's plan, writings that describe the shooter's mental state, and more than anything, writings that describe the shooter's hate. There appears to be only one group that the shooter didn't hate, one group of people who the shooter admired. The group were the school shooters and mass murderers that are notorious in this country. More than anything, the shooter wanted to kill children, defenseless children. The shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. The shooter saw the attack as a way to target our most vulnerable among us while they were at their most vulnerable, at school and at church. I won't dignify the shooter's words by repeating them. They are horrific and vile. But in short, the shooter wanted to watch children suffer.
New Directions Community Credit Union is now open in Titusville. They may be new to our community, but they've been serving our region since 1974, providing their members with affordable products and services. Membership is open to anyone who lives, works, worships, volunteers, attends school, regularly conducts business, or who owns a business in Venango, Forest, Warren, or Crawford counties. Visit their new location at 206 South Martin Street in Titusville to learn more about becoming a member. Best of luck to all the students and athletes this fall from New Directions Community Credit Union.
Looking for expert orthopedic care? Dr. Charlie Gates, a trusted name at Titusville Area Hospital, can help you regain mobility and a better quality of life. With years of experience and a passion for personalized care, Dr. Gates specializes in treating a wide range of orthopedic conditions. Whether it's joint pain, sports injuries, or orthopedic surgery, trust Dr. Charlie Gates at Titusville Area Hospital for your orthopedic care. Call 814-827-9770 today to schedule your appointment.
Community Connect Federal Credit Union, serving Crawford, Venango, Forest, and Warren counties. Their mission is to provide quality, low-cost, and personal financial products for the growth and security of their members and families. Stop in, call, or visit our website, communityconnectfcu.com, and click Join to get started. Community Connect Federal Credit Union, 1050 East Spring Street in Titusville.
Titusville Market Square is home to over 100 unique vendors featuring antiques, collectibles, candles, coins, baked goods, dairy products, food items, comic books, toys, and so much more. You'll discover something new every time you walk through the door. Did we mention the selection of baked goods, breads, Clark's Donuts, and Amish pies? Titusville Market Square has you covered. Stop in to explore today. Titusville Market Square in downtown Titusville.
Our new home.
Somebody pinch me.
Somebody say pinch?
Pinch, pinch.
We mean we just bought this.
Yeah, we just bought a new house. Why are there crabs?
Don't call for pinches. Call for protection.
Hit it.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your State Farm agent is ready to help you choose the right coverage for your new house and your car.
All right, which way to the sea?
We're in Ohio.
So is that close or no?
No.
You got a pool?
No.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I'm Ronnie Long.
And I'm Lisa Mellon.
The name Armstrong reflects more than just a company. It's a promise.
While others focus on the short term, we're building for a future that's limitless.
From the dawn of cable television to the rise of the digital age, we've delivered cutting-edge technology like our advanced fiber network that redefines what's possible.
Guided by our core values, we have proudly served and strengthened communities like yours for generations.
Fat Chad's is Titusville's premier dining destination. Come hungry and enjoy these menu favorites: T-bone steak, homemade meatloaf dinner, or soft shell crab tacos. Dive into fresh pasta entrees like shrimp and scallop pasta or our signature Asiago chicken. And don't miss our famous burgers and fish sandwiches, all served with fresh cut fries. Fridays mean prime rib specials. Enjoy wild game Saturdays. And on Sundays, it's our all-you-can-eat wing buffet. For good food and good times, it's Fat Chad's Brewing in Titusville.
211 is an easy-to-remember telephone number for finding health and human services for everyday needs and in crisis situations. Every day, highly trained 211 call specialists provide referrals to basic human needs resources like food banks and shelters, physical and mental health, employment support, support for youth and child care programs, and support for adults and persons with disabilities. To learn more, dial 211 or visit pa211nw.org.
Wall Street's main indexes gained ground on Thursday, with the Dow ticking up marginally for a record high close, the S&P 500 climbing about 0.33% to also notch a record high close, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq adding more than 0.5%. Shares of Nvidia fell less than 1% on trade uncertainties with China, and despite a 56% surge in quarterly revenue that confirmed demand for AI technology remained strong. Other AI heavyweights rose, including Alphabet and Amazon, with chipmaker Broadcom rising almost 3%. But Ben McMillan, chief investment officer and co-founder of IDX Advisors, believes macroeconomic factors may pressure high-flying stocks in the months ahead.
I do think we're starting getting into the back half of the year where investors should, urge some caution as it relates to the risk on trade, things back to basics, diversification, taking profits, rotating out of, potentially, sectors that have done very well. And the market is just, I think, kind of in looking at data mode, seeing what's going to happen to the Fed, and then also just waiting for data to come in that's going to determine one way or another whether or not we have a recession in the back half.
Other stocks on the move included chipmaker Marvell Technology, which slid about 8% in extended trading after the company forecast third-quarter revenue below Wall Street estimates as economic uncertainty and tariff concerns weighed on overall demand. Shares of Caterpillar dropped about 3% in after-hours trading as the construction equipment maker raised its estimate of tariff-related costs for 2025. And shares of Dell fell more than 4% in extended trading after the company gave a third-quarter profit outlook that disappointed investors.
Well, a quick look at that weather forecast for northwest Pennsylvania. Chance of a morning shower, mostly cloudy this morning, becoming partly cloudy this afternoon. Low 60s for a high today. If you're getting ready to head out to high school football tonight, might want to bundle up. Partly cloudy skies. Low temperatures overnight going to hit the mid-40s. So, yeah, it's going to get cool this evening. But into the Labor Day weekend, looking pretty good. Saturday, partly cloudy, upper 60s. Sunday, partly cloudy, mid-70s. Monday for Labor Day, mostly sunny, mid-70s. And Tuesday, partly cloudy with temperatures in the upper 70s. That is a look at your weather forecast at 8:41. This is the Morning Drill. You're watching it on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Joining us this morning is Mr. Sports, Bruce Peterson. Good morning, Bruce. Good to see you this morning.
You too. Glad I was able to make it in. I think that's about as close as I've ever cut it.
Yeah, there's a couple times.
Yeah,
but
snuck in.
Yeah, but it's all right. Glad to see you this morning. Hey, I know you're going to spend time talking about college today, college football.
Yeah, right.
But real quick, I do want to ask, roster cuts have been made. Anything really jump out or surprise you?
Not really. No, not really. I mean, I think looking at the positions, pretty much everybody made the team that I thought would make the team. And
I was surprised that, I guess, that Beanie Bishop had some big fans. But
yeah, but he was a fringe player. He was not a starter. I mean, if that's your only surprise, there weren't many surprises. They did have 4 quarterbacks on the roster, but they were waiting till the cutdowns were made before they put Howard on the reserve list. And
I should apologize. They brought Beanie Bishop back to the practice squad.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. So he's still with the team.
Yeah.
In fact, there was a couple of veterans cut, DeMarvin Leal, and I can't remember the other one, and they both wound up on the practice squad. So I think the practice squad was made up of players totally that were practicing with them this fall. They didn't bring anybody in from the outside. So, no, not really. There's like 2 weeks now until we see the next game, or actually 2 weeks.
Next week? Next Thursday is the kickoff.
That's right. They're next Sunday. So week from Sunday.
Yeah.
So,
is that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah. It's interesting that the pros give this weekend to college football. That first weekend in the fall, they don't have any games. It's totally exclusively for college football. So, but that's a nice thing because remember, college football is the minor leagues for professional football.
Yeah. I would imagine the NFL has to respect.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because
their draft has to do with college football. College football if you look at every other sport, they have an extensive minor league system. Professional football doesn't have that. They have the colleges.
Yeah. I would say they're pretty powerful in their own right, as opposed to other leagues like, the minor league system. And
if you look at college football, it goes back a long way. It goes back to the 19th century. The only sport that goes back as far as college football is baseball. Baseball goes back to actually right after the Civil War, and college football is the same. Now, the early college football game was more like soccer. They kicked the ball, but it was physical. Soccer today, you're not allowed to touch another player, but back then you could be very physical. And then it turned into a game like rugby, where you could run the ball and throw it backwards. And then really, as you get into the middle 20th century, it became the passing game that it is today. So it has really evolved, but it evolved in college. College is where football developed.
And still
is developing.
Yeah. The NFL looks at college, right, to see what they're doing.
So a lot of the things that happen in college wind up in professional football. Because remember, professional football, up until into the 60s, was really a running game. They mostly ran the ball. The forward pass was something they used, but the game was all about running the football. And it really wasn't until the 80s that it became the passing game that it is today. And in 77, they changed the rules about how linemen could block. They went from here to here. Now you can use your hands on their shoulders, so it's better for pass protection. So that was probably more than anything changed football from the game that it used to be to the game we know today.
Yeah. Would that same game still be as popular if you had less passing? And
I think the people that run football, well, if you go back to the old AFL, when they came out, and the AFL, I think, caught on because they passed the ball a lot. And the NFL was a stodgy old league that ran the ball. Well, when they finally joined leagues, I think it was 69, 70s when they joined, I think, then the NFL now said, you know, we think passing the ball is a good thing too. So
brings some excitement, doesn't it?
Exactly. You know.
I mean, look at the NBA. It's all offensively driven, right?
Right.
Shooting, and I mean, defense is just...
There is no defense.
There is no defense.
And there are a lot of old veteran NBA players who are decrying the fact that it's kind of turned into this scoring circus, which I agree.
Yeah.
I used to love pro basketball. You couldn't get me to watch it now.
Yeah.
But.
So, NFL starting next week, but giving college their props for this weekend. The only thing I don't like is the last couple years, maybe just the last year and this year, they've got the first Friday of the opening season here for NFL they have a Thursday night game kicks it off, but they have a Friday night game and then Sundays. I don't like the fact that they're going against high school football, and I know they're saying it's just one Friday, but
yeah, it's about the money. I mean, that's what's happened to college football. It's become about the money. You know, it's a very money-driven sport. And you might even say there's more money in college football than there is.
Well, this is the NFL having a Friday night game.
I know. But
college, they need it to pay these players. And
well, they have NIL contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about this, and I was thinking about this last night when I was going to bed. Really, what drives the sport today a lot is boosters. And boosters have deep pockets, Luke. I mean, I just have to look at that stadium rehab down in Penn State. $700 million. And they think nothing of it. They had no trouble raising that money. Think about that.
Yeah.
There's something about, and I was thinking about this too, there's something about when you go to college, college is a pretty amazing place. You're away from home for the first time, and you have a social life, and you go out with girls and you party and you do all this crazy stuff. There is an allegiance that develops when you're in college that carries over for really the rest of your life. If you go to a college, that place is special to you your whole rest of your life, which I think is why wealthy people give so much money back to colleges. The only other institution I could think of that garners that kind of money are political parties.
Mm.
They get a lot of money from.
I was going to say the government gets a lot of our money,
but the political parties get a lot of money from benefactors.
Yes,
strong supporters.
Yeah.
So, where is college football today? I mean, it's went through really radical change in the last few years. Some conferences are gone. There is no more Pac-12. Well, there's two teams. I mean, the old Southwest Conference is long gone. I was looking at the ACC lineup. Atlantic Coast Conference has California and Stanford in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Yeah. I mean, does that make any sense? No. But that's what happened to football. And it's all about the TV money. The conferences that are able to get more TV money are surviving, and conferences like the Pac-12 are basically gone. Although next year, the Pac-12 is going to take a lot of the Mountain West Conference teams and some other teams.
I was going to say, are those phone calls happening? Like, okay, if there's only two teams here in this conference.
Oh yeah, they've already have agreement with. I think next year you can't. A lot of teams you have to pay or you have to tell a conference you're getting out. Sometimes if you leave early, they sign contracts. If you leave early, you got to pay them money. So they can't just poach teams right now. They have to wait until they can get out of their contract.
Okay.
But it's going to, I think, go back up to 8 or 10 teams.
I understand, like Big Ten, SEC. These are well-established.
Those
conferences.
are the mega conferences.
But you look at it and you go, okay, Big Ten. Well, no longer 10 teams, right? So
16.
Right. So do we change our name? Do we become something else, or is it, hey, this is who we are and we're proud of this. We're keeping this. SEC is one thing. Big Ten, though, is kind of.
Yeah, they're the big dog. I think if you look at the two conferences, the SEC and the Big Ten, those are the big boys. They have all the good teams with a couple, 2 or 3. But and they get the big money. They get the big money. And really what you see now is that with the advent of the NIL contract, which has to be funded, it can't come from the university. It has to be funded through boosters. Last year, I think Texas was the biggest spender of NIL money. I think it was 40-some million. And that's for players' contracts, name, image, and likeness. Now, where's that going to go? Well, we're just at the beginning of NIL contracts. It's going to become huge. And I think there'll be at some point down the road where everybody in the team will get money. Now, they started, remember, no money was allowed in college football, and then they relented and they allowed players to have stipends.
Yeah, but not that they didn't figure out backdoor channels to get.
Oh, yeah. I mean, was it the one player that went to USC, got a family, got a house, and he got a car, and back channel stuff, and which is what caused the coach back then, the family to have to leave because of all this money that was filtering in. But if you notice, this usually happens with these big universities, USC, Michigan, Ohio State. I mean, you were talking last week about the facilities for Alabama, the college football facilities. It's like immaculate. It's huge.
Yeah,
it's like
Ohio State.
Taj Mahal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's because they have so much money. The boosters will come in and just spend whatever you want. We'll write a check. And these are boosters that have become incredibly successful. They make millions of dollars, and so they can afford to give back. And that's their college football team. That's the college they went to and had fun and dated and partied and all this stuff. And so now they're giving back to their football team. And there's just something about the game of football that basically started in colleges.
Well, and I think that's why there's some that's like, yeah, you know what? I'm not the NFL. That's nice, but I'm doing okay right here. The facilities are great. Making some money.
And now you can get paid.
Yeah.
And if you go to the pros, as well as I do, Luke, if you're not a first-round pick, and that doesn't even guarantee you're going to be a good pro.
Mm-mm.
If you're a third or fourth or fifth-round pick, what's the chances of you being a player that makes a team? You might be a fringe player for a couple years and then you're gone. If you stay in college football now, you can make some serious change. So more money than you'd probably make. And to me, the college game is much more fun, than the pro game.
Right now.
Yeah.
Let's do this real quick. You're watching the Morning Drill on Stream TV and on the Armstrong Neighborhood Channel. Talking college football with Mr. Sports here this morning, Bruce Peterson.
So, money is taking over the and I still don't think we're done seeing movement of teams. And I think, that's why Nick Saban left college football. He was really concerned about the direction it was taken. And he's now chairing a college sports committee. They're going to look at some of these issues, and I think make some recommendations down the road.
Well, it's hard to coach a team sport when it's becoming very individualized.
Exactly. And football is not. Football is a sport that needs teamwork.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to mix this in, but maybe old school coaches are going to struggle with that, where maybe you've got younger coaches who might be understanding and open to dealing with the individuals and figuring out the team aspect.
That's probably true. Because you coach, by what experience you had when you were in the sport. The experience today by players is much different than it was years ago. So, but my sense is that college football, and I've talked about this on the show before, needs to have some kind of overarching structure.
Yeah.
Where all the teams that are going to participate in like major college football get together, agree on rules, and also agree on funding, how the funding's going to go out to the schools. You know, it's like the pros. The pros, Pete Rozelle early on said, we need to share TV money. And I think college needs to do the same thing. If you want to have any semblance of, competitiveness. Because right now, if you look at, I looked at the AP Top 25, all big schools at the top, all big money schools at the top. They're dominating the sport because they got more money.
It'll be like baseball.
Exactly.
So, and they also need to. Are there limits right now on like the NIL money, or is it the sky's the limit right now?
There's no limits.
Yeah. See, they need to really get everything organized here.
Yeah.
Before it ruins the sport.
Yeah, exactly. And I still think college football is incredibly popular, but I think we're on the point where I think a lot of fans are getting kind of disgusted. They're seeing what's happening out there and going, I'm not sure I like this.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I like a few teams getting all the money and dominating everything. And
or a player one year playing here and then saying,
exactly, next year playing here, next year playing there. You don't even have that in the pros. In pros you have long-term contracts and players tend to stay.
Hopefully. Cam Hayward.
It's interesting that whole discussions went away.
It quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, quickly. Yeah, exactly. We talked about
did you want to talk this was a really fast segment, Bruce.
Well, it's a pretty interesting subject and we just scratched the surface.
Yeah. So what do you got there? The top.
Well, this is the AP Top 25.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to do a script today because
life. But this was a very good conversation. So lay out what they have listed and
we'll go over the AP Top 25. I think top team is Texas. Okay, they're a very rich school. In fact, they started their own broadcast. They had their own network, and when they joined the SEC, they had to share that money for that. That's how rich they are.
But that'll go away too once the networks apply pressure.
Right. Then you have Penn State's number 2, Ohio State's number 3, and these are all big boys. Clemson, Georgia, big school. Notre Dame, their lineage in college football goes way back. Oregon, Alabama. They used to always be top 5. LSU, big school.
Mm-hmm.
Miami. Now, Miami really didn't become a major college football power until the 80s. Arizona State, Illinois. Illinois is interesting. Illinois has been a bottom feeder that's now become very strong. South Carolina, Michigan, they're lower than they usually are. Then you have Florida. The Florida schools didn't really become popular, didn't become big football powers until the 80s. SMU, that's Southern Methodist University. Kansas State. Oklahoma, they're pretty low for what they usually are. They're one of the big schools. Texas A&M, another big school. Indiana, another bottom feeder that's really become relevant in the last few years. You have Ole Miss, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Tennessee, and Boise State. The only team in that whole bunch is Boise State. They were the Mountain West Conference team that kind of broke through and became a competitive team and was able to play with the big boys. So.
Yeah, and you mentioned networks. I think CBS was big in putting the spotlight on the SEC back in the 80s. So some of those teams you mentioned.
Yeah, there were networks that signed exclusively the rights to conferences.
Yeah.
And that became big because they realized that, the highest watched football game each year is Ohio State, Michigan. That's it's by a long shot.
Wow.
There's nothing even close. And you have to get out in the South to get any numbers like that.
Bruce, good to see you. Next Friday, we're going to spend a whole hour talking about
NFL.
Good to see you.
Okay, buddy.